Ahoy there, Legion! It's the Monday after Devstream, so you know it's time for our recap and review. We do these after every Devstream to keep you all in the loop and save you time to boot. If you recall, during our last recap and review, I said, but as long as it's not more foggy Earth levels, I'll be happy. Thankfully, this weekend's tactical alert instead featured, a foggy Earth level. Right. Well, at least I got my Rhino to punch things barehanded like how he did in the Prophet trailer. Checkmate, DE. Console Squad. If you were wondering where Valkyrie's Deluxe skin was, she's still on the way and is set to release this week. You guys got a lot of content at once and I didn't want her to get lost in the shuffle. PC 10.0 on the other hand have Saryn's Deluxe skin and rework to look forward to, supposedly this week, but while the Rhino skin has been seen in action many times, I don't think they've actually shown her new model yet, so we'll see what happens. Speaking of Saryn's rework, while her abilities build off one another nicely, if those black bars sliding into view give you any indication, it comes at quite the expensive cost to energy that no high-ranking devs seem to notice. In layman's terms, if the changes showcased make it live this week unchanged, they are nerfing her ultimate. Currently, you can run a low-duration build and increase her burst damage of miasma, but come rework, all her abilities do damage per second, so lower duration would actually lower your damage and would even make it harder to synergize abilities together. Meaning now you're probably going to want to avoid duration entirely. You'd probably swap that into efficiency, as if you wish to do max damage with miasma, you're going to have to cast Venom on the target, then melee it with Contagion, and then use her ultimate. And then you're going to be left with about half of your total energy pool for one use. Rebecca played the spec for the first time live and went to bat for us, jokingly suggesting perhaps spamming energy restores as part of her rework design. Overall, the other devs remained silent and chat was, shall we say, not impressed. Not to mention the reason they probably haven't shown a reskin live even though it's just days away is because they're planning on also nerfing the size of Saryn's two most notable assets. But if you're a fan of Saryn and this concerns you, it's gonna be okay. In its defense, one of the devs did say the UI guy thinks this rework makes Saryn super OP. So it's totally fine now. The reason all our menus wiggle annoyingly, and that our loadout screens are still blocked by our Warframe's head, and that our mods get shrunk down to a third of their size, and you need to hover over them directly to read what they even do, and that they place those stunty mods on the bar you have to awkwardly scroll left to right instead of up and down through, the guy in charge of those decisions feels Saryn 2.0 is going to be OP. I think it goes without saying, you're brimming with confidence right now. Suggestion: when Saryn casts an ability, she gets a short buff that reduces the energy cost of the following abilities for a few seconds. This could possibly stack and work similarly to Atlas's charge mechanics, where the more you use something, the cheaper yet more powerful it becomes. In this case, the abilities get stronger based on design. We just need some energy reduction into the mix to keep the wheels greased on the hype train. Damage feedback is something new, aiming for update 18, where if you shoot an enemy in the foot, you can make them stumble. Or if you shoot an Osprey, stuff will break off and cause it to spin around and lose momentum. If you've been keeping up with Steam Workshop functionality, the ability to make your own skins for sale started last week. By the end of this week, DE plans on selecting the first batch of additions. They will aim to get those selections in-game as soon as next week. In the future, weapon models and Syandanas will be options, but one at a time, Legion. There are some noticeable scaling issues of the enemy's size in Archwing, so to combat this, they are apparently adding new enemy types in their place. Instead of a giant corpus grunt with wings, now they'll be normal-sized and a much larger space contraption. The Meowth might be out this week, but it's far more likely to be out next week. The Coup Bros AI can be rather wonky, which DE admitted, but while they didn't provide any fixes, they did say the layout of the level itself can be to blame. But Sentinel fans will like to hear that their floating parrot sentries will soon be able to target arc traps and sensor bars on trapdoors for a nice quality of life change. Trading might make it to relays. At least for now, instead of an auction house, we're getting a trading pose or a trading state to let others know we have goods for sale. I'd rather just get an auction house myself, but this is a decent first step. Star Chart's getting pushed back yet again. Currently it might make it to 18.5, while the Void's destruction could be in at the start of 18. Of course, that leads to a conflict where the access to the Void is changed, and we need the Star Chart to be changed to access it again, but the UI guy probably loves this too, so it's fine. The focus system appears to be unfinished as well, and they specifically said the beginning of the focus system, and not just the focus system, will arrive in Update 18, so I don't know what that's all about. They compared Archer Frame to Excalibur, which I thought was pretty weird, so her ultimate might spam Exalted Blade like arrows if that's the connection. But they did mention a mechanic that will allow you to hold an ability down to change the ammo type it fires, which sounds pretty nice. Blue lovers will rejoice knowing Wakhan will be released before the end of the year. The chat rework is aiming for Update 19, which is good because at least for PC it was down many hours over the weekend. Yeah, new enemies are getting rigged to be cut to shreds with our melee weapons and abilities, as only the original mobs had those options and why the new ones just fizzle away. Rhino's charge will apparently trigger this effect as well, because nothing makes me want to split something in half like playing Rhino in Warframe. Speaking of, hey Valkyrie, you up for some space Netflix and chill? No, green the rip line. I got a few ideas. Somewhat of a mixed bag this week, Legion. My main concerns would be Saryn gets the attention she needs right now, as it seems like they're, air quotes, buffing her the same way Ember was at the start of the year. If that's the case, you have my condolences. They still got time to fix things. Hopefully Rebecca can get them to notice the problems in time, but we'll have to wait and see. You got some thoughts on the matter, Legion? Or anything else during the dev stream we might have mentioned? Feel free to leave a comment below with it, and we'll be sure to reply. Unless it's a comment about how much you loved the fog during the Halloween event, in which case I might randomly miss it, and in no way have I dodged it on purpose, naturally. Alrighty, y'all have a great day, thank you for watching, and catch you next time, Legion. Take care.